Hello, everyone, and I really have to consider.
Did you get dizzy doing that so fast?
No,
whiplash.
I just don't think I can. Okay, hold on.
Please keep that in.
Hey, everybody! Wow, this will be the first thing we've published since the end of season 2.
It's all right to have baby deer legs coming into this. It's all right.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Yeah. I'm really Bambiing this intro.
You're Bambiing the intro hardcore.
Yeah. Flower.
Bird.
So, hey, everybody. Gosh, I hope there's still people here.
Is anybody out there? Can anybody hear me?
This is Ricky and Josh. Does anyone remember?
The rest of the world's gone mad.
Does anyone remember what the Titans of Alterra is?
The Titans of what?
Yeah, it was a podcast.
What's a podcast?
You know, with your ears.
People don't listen with their ears anymore. They listen with their brains.
What?
What?
You said what? Okay, for real though. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this very special autopsy of seasons 1 and 2, because we're getting ready to release season 3.
Oh, it's so close, guys. It's so close. I can taste it.
Yeah, and I want to
savory.
I want to prep you because season 3 it's probably the most highly produced content I've ever made.
But it's also the most sporadic.
Yeah, I don't know that it'll be as consistent.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. There's a lot of question marks, but I don't want to keep putting off the season. I want it to come. So there will be a lot of announcements to come, and I'll probably end this autopsy with a few of them. But to start, I want to catch us all up.
Is this autopsy going to be for everybody, by the way, or is
this will be public, cool. Published on the podcast channel.
Awesome.
For everyone to listen to. So we a pandemic happened, and
some things went down.
We really tried to get season 2 done, and we did, but it wasn't necessarily all that I wanted it to be.
Some might say the world got handed a bad hand.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
I really tried for that one. I just thought of it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. I'm glad to see that I'm not the only person struggling. So I want to, before we jump into season 3, because here's the one thing I'm getting rid of.
Which we're not doing right now.
We're not jumping into season 3 now. No. This is preliminary.
I think the plan for this is to review primarily season 2 to get us up to speed again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to touch on season 1, just dip our toes.
Yeah.
But then, I want to dive into what happened in season 2 so that when we jump into season 3, everybody's there. Because the one thing I'm getting rid of, I'm not doing this for this season. I'm not doing last times. So that was a big part of my editing process for season 1. And I tried to keep it going in season 2. And then once we went remote, I think I completely just ditched it.
Just axed it.
For the sake of publishing episodes. So this I really want to put all my attention on the episodes, the story structure, the sound design, and make stuff that is fun and pleasing to listen to.
Yeah, man.
So
I don't think anybody will argue with that. So
I thought this would be a great way for us to sit down, talk about the seasons, bring everybody up to date, so I don't got to do it last time.
Yeah, dude.
And then I'll probably just do like a little recap of where things are at the beginning of each episode.
And I think we would like that too, depending on how long it's been between recordings.
Yes.
So I think that'll be good for everybody.
Yeah. So season 1, Titans of Alterra.
Yes.
Crazy idea. Let's bring Voltron to D&D.
4 people come together. They fight. They travel. They fight some more.
From the kingdom of Lestrade, the kingdom on the sea. Yep, they travel. We're introduced to the Erden in the south.
After being
you made way too big jumps.
Sorry, I went too fast.
Yeah, I want to really dip our toes. I'm like, wow.
Well, I dipped the toes.
You're like, so season 1 happened. Now, then in season 2, it's no.
I didn't know how much you had to skim. Okay,
I want to at least hit the big points.
Lestrade.
Yeah,
we start in Lestrade.
Yeah, so ultimately
we go to the Gnome Island.
Well, okay, yeah, but that's not as the biggest deal is that
important.
You guys uncover ancient ruins on a mission that basically imbue each of you with an ancient being's, call it a soul, call it their identity, call it a download.
A spirit link. What does we call it?
I honestly don't know. I think I called it like a soul quest when you guys would would acquire one.
Gotcha.
Or would like end up. You would each have to go on like a mission to find.
Yeah.
Regardless of what we call it, it's a being. It's an ancient being that you're bonded with, who is also connected to giant golems that were made to defend the world against an onslaught of titanous monsters.
Yeah.
So you're given a warning that there's a terrible war coming. Mm-hmm. Each of you are imbued with this energy and shown visions of where these golems are.
Through the eyes of the golem. Yeah.
Yep. And then you uncover the first one on that mission.
Yeah.
On the Gnome Island, the goat.
We don't realize what it is, though, until Joan goes into a trance back at the mainland.
Yes.
During the first Titan attack.
Yep. And then she summons it.
Yeah.
You guys battle some awesome Titans. Dalfin has this great moment where he punches the head.
That's still the roles. The roles in that episode
were great. That sequence, I think it was 3 episodes long. It was the
I think it was 2.
New perspective.
I think it was 2 episodes, but
yeah, that whole the encounter around that with the Titans was super fun,
and the whole like with it, literally everything the way it worked out with Theodoric, Dalfin's old master.
Oh yeah, he passed away.
Downing that one like with the quivering palm.
He used quivering palm, and it ended up being like the last thing he could do with his energy.
And that the roles actually worked out. Like I love when the roles work.
Yes.
Like I know that you're willing to sometimes retcon some of that or like go in and fudge it, but like when it works, it just feels like fate, and it makes me so happy.
Yep.
Like,
and I don't like saying fudge it. To me, it's whether or not the moment deserves it. You know what I mean? So like,
and when I say that, I don't mean that you shouldn't, because I think every DM that's their game given right.
Yeah. But like for me, I don't like making those decisions just for the sake of what I want to happen. For me, it has to do a lot with what the moment feels like. Yes. You know what I mean? Like if a bad guy's got, 50 hit points left, but someone just rolled a nat 20 and it was the coolest thing, and the battle's been going on for a little while. It's like,
and they have 1 hit point left or 2 hit points left. It's like, let it end.
Let's do it. Let's get it done. So
instead of like someone just shooting an arrow at their knee.
Yeah. It's like So I try not to go out of my way to fudge rolls. I really like consequences, and so, but yeah, and
same. I love consequences.
Dalfin is a good example of that. So we've got our 4 adventurers. There's Dalfin, the monk halfling, spunky,
not a hobbit,
hairy feet, though basically a hobbit, in everything but name, but a monk also. And his mentor dies, taking out one of the Titans. Winnie, our gnome tinkering wizard, who saved her family from another Titan.
Yep.
That was eventually taken out by a bunch of wizards.
And she has a little companion,
Walter.
Yep.
Little mechanical
elephant that toots. That's her, it has that holds the diamond, which fuels her chromatic orb.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you got Captain Relnor, stalwart leader of the party.
Human,
whose father used to be the de facto king of Lestrade, though they called it the high captain,
the military leader. Yeah.
But his father died, and he was raised by the now high captain, Captain Harris.
Yeah. The then high captain.
His kind of surrogate father, dwarf, and Joan Stormcrown,
Grey cleric,
daughter of Lestrade, very much like a product of that environment, raised by the clerics,
raised by an interesting
pair of sisters.
Yeah, but the dichotomy between the two and what that did to her is very interesting.
And
Allura,
and and it was very much, Allura was very much more the motherly figure, but Davi was like the fun aunt who really inspired her to pursue. Well,
and we learned that Davi later, and
we learned that in that sequence.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, around that time, we learned that she's actually a red.
Yes,
cleric.
Which is a taboo. The worship of the white god is preferred. It's light. It's justice. It's order. The red god is chaos and war and violence.
And genuinely frowned upon socially.
Yes, except by warriors. And so
which makes sense because they're a little anarchy and anarchist a little bit.
So she's masquerading as a gray cleric, which is kind of the clerics of knowledge, and they're very
the gray gods are neutral, intelligence based, reason based.
Yeah. So that's what Joan is. She's all knowledge, and so her world kind of turns upside down. she goes into this golem, what we call the golem state, kind of where her bond activates. She has this quest. She's successful. She succeeds.
Her and Terry Tudurkin take out the
Artemis
spider titan.
Artemis, the what we eventually come to find out, steward being who is bonded with the goat,
and
whose soul basically powers the goat,
and
golem.
Who's the father of the titan, the golems.
Yeah, he basically is the inventor of them. Yeah, we learned that in season 2, I think. The or in late stages of season 1, and yeah, so that all happens. You defeat the titans, and now you're like, okay, these golems are a thing, and you're basically commissioned by Harris. Do whatever you've got to find the rest of the golems, because these monsters, we could be seeing more of them.
And with the vision hints, we could either go north to the Crystal City, or go south to the desert.
Yep.
We elect to go south as this other party of Harris, Davi, Podge, who becomes a pretty important figure later on, but is one of Winnie's childhood friends, gnome friends.
Her buddy, and Michael Reed.
And Michael Reed, who's like this kind of suave, rogue black market dealer.
Yes. He's a businessman. Like it's very like a
legitimate businessman.
Yeah. But this guy's like super connected with the underground.
But those 4 go after Wilbert, who killed Donnie Russell.
Yes.
And kind of initiated, or what seemed to initiate, or was a big part.
Kind of an inquisition of wizards.
Of wizards. Yeah. Of wizards trying to assassinate people.
Which is, I think, part of the reason you guys went south is because like there was a lot of upheaval happening in the 4 kingdoms, and
they were going after Wilbert.
They're going after
we were
Wilbert.
Like, let's go the other way.
Let's not deal with this Inquisition and the White Order. Let's go find our golems, because that's our mission. So you guys travel south. You find the Erden.
We pass the what's that little town over the river? Riverwatch.
Yeah, Riverwatch.
We pass Riverwatch alongside the Forgotten Forest.
Yeah.
And we meet Gar at the Watchtower.
Gar. I forgot about Gar.
We go to the cave. We take out Creature. Miscreant. Why do I keep calling him Creature?
I don't know. It's kind of it fits.
Turns out he becomes a Titan.
You guys see him become.
That's the first time we see that happen.
You start to realize, okay, so the Titans aren't just like magically appearing.
They don't just appear. They're not summoned.
They're transforming.
They're transforming from other things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Then you encounter the Erden.
We meet a shiny stone named Dyer, a whetstone.
Oh my gosh! And let's not go into all the details.
Sorry. You guys. He takes it back to his people.
Yep.
It's these kind of primal humans having an argument with each other.
Yeah. They live off the land.
We unite them by showing them Joan.
Yeah, you
fulfill
a prophecy.
Yes.
You become the bringers of shade.
Yes.
In which case, several of these broken tribes start to unite underneath you guys.
We reunite the tree people, the dirt people, and then we go into the plains and try and recruit all the farming people.
Yep. And the horse people.
The horse people. And we go to war with the orcs.
Yes.
And Urong the Fellhammer.
You learn about Urong Fellhammer, and who has united the orcs for the first time in a long time. And he's launching a big war. And so the war at the Woolbridge.
And while that is one of the most fun aspects, we can just say we won. Like, we don't have to go into the like it's like that's literally one of my favorite moments. It really has
not a lot of other impacts on the story. But something really important before that occurs is you guys are split. So
that's right.
Winnie goes
to the Iron City.
She's on her way to the Iron City to find an orc friend of your guys's who you'd lost.
I thought she was going to ask for help from the Iron City.
Oh, was that what the plan was?
Yeah, and then from there, Penny's like, I sense something. Then that dude gives her a horse. She goes to the well.
That's right. So we neglected to mention that Winnie actually starts having contact with the soul she's bonded.
And around that time, I also see a bird, and I go get mine.
Yep. You guys start.
I wander away from Relnor.
You guys start kind of connecting with your soul bond, and so Winnie's following it, and I think narratively, it was kind of understood like, okay, so Dalfin's finding his golem.
Yeah.
Winnie's probably going to find hers.
That's what we hoped.
Yeah.
Instead, she finds the society of super sophisticated, technologically advanced underground orcs.
That are led by a god, basically.
They're led by one of the, what we now know was the perceived gray god.
Yep. They're basically draconic humanoid beings.
Ancient beings.
That I call keepers. And this is Valisol. It's the first one we really name.
And they were the ones that used to kind of be over they had kind of the rule of the land when they were all around.
And they've now they in an immense war, they whittled themselves down to 3.
And a big part of that war was the Titans.
Yes, that's what finished it. So yeah, the Titans are what ended the war.
And the unique thing about these creatures is when one dies, the rest of its power
is dispersed.
I would imagine that includes intellect, physical ability,
the whole gambit.
Energy.
It's very much Highlander rules. Like
very much Jet Li's the one.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. But now there's 3 left.
Yes, but getting back to Winnie.
Oh, sorry.
She finds this what we call the Well, and it's a hub of knowledge and history.
And another reason she thought to go there was because of Bordeaux, which was a guy we met on the ship way earlier. We forgot about him, but
who gave her the symbol of the Well.
Yeah.
And so she sees
we learned that he's from the Well.
Yep. He's actually like an orc that has information.
And he thought Donnie was the one. And that's why Wilbert also thought and killed him.
Yeah, he's pursuing the prophecy. So Donnie kind of tricked everybody.
He kind of saved us.
Yeah, but it's a good thing that Relnor just didn't roll better.
Took one for the team.
It's a good thing Relnor didn't roll better when he was in school.
It's too bad Donnie's not leading us, honestly.
That's great. That's really great. Yeah, I forgot about that wrinkle. That was really good, clever way to make all that happen. Good job, Josh. I forgot that I really went to town on that story.
You did a good job having there be linked things and payoff way down the road.
Yeah.
It was really good.
I just remember the War of the Worlds being one of the most satisfying.
You loved it
campaign
from a DM perspective.
I've ever experienced. Yeah.
And from my perspective, it was really fun.
Yeah. Which is the best thing you can hope for as a DM is for your players to have fun.
Yes.
So
in terms of story, we won. Winnie she gets awoken.
She gets awoken by Valasol.
Valasol, who is the gray god, quote unquote.
Basically,
one of the 3 last remaining.
She kind of identifies that all of humanity their souls are sleeping.
Yeah.
And so these ancient ruins that lie all throughout Altera used to be technology, but you had to have an awakened soul to activate it.
Yeah.
And so Winnie becomes awakened, which gives her the ability to now
activate the ruins,
the ancient ruins, which opens up a ton of doors down the line.
And also increased her level by 2.
Yes.
Which was crazy cool.
Beefed her up so she's above everybody else level-wise.
She's 1 level above everybody.
But she brings some orcs from the Well. They unite with the Erden, who are united underneath Joan and Relnor because they're humans.
The Sturden, I think Joan would correct you if she was here.
Yeah, she's the Sturden. That was really her pet project.
Yeah, she really appropriated those guys.
Educating them. So Dalfin emerges, I think, right before the battle begins with his goal.
I missed the first onslaught. And then I get there.
That's right. There's like a big.
They test before they call for a parlay. They test their forces.
Yep.
And they were able to beat him back.
Yep.
And then Orang's like,
I did so much research for that.
I'll give you a prophecy.
Oh, that was so good, so good. I love that character.
I've listened to season 1 so much, that's why I remember it so well.
Yeah.
Season 2,
he was mean.
He was a great villain. I would have liked to see more of him.
I would have too.
But then, so Dalfin gets there, and Relnor's like, hey, go reconnaissance. And so I do, and I get attacked.
By a flying titan.
I kill it, and that starts the war early.
That's right.
And then things kick off, and then things are going off, and Winnie arrives with her little orc band with like technological armor.
Yep. And she ends up dealing the final blow.
At the cost of her connection to Penny.
Yeah. Penny uses a lot of energy to basically shut down Orung's Fellhammer. He tightens up.
Yeah.
So he becomes a big monster titan.
a, what'd you call it? A Titan level 2?
Yeah.
I forget what the name was.
I'm sure I did.
A legendary Titan. Or maybe that was Wilbert. I don't know.
Yeah, bigger is basically a beefier Titan. Yeah, he's got a big cannon that's mechanical, almost like the ancient ruins.
Him and Wilbert
wipes out tons of people.
And him and Wilbert were unique because they didn't transform as much as they assimilated what was around them.
Yes.
To create almost like a similar, almost to create something that was more akin to the golems.
And that's why I called it level 2. To me, that was a placeholder. I wanted to eventually have different like titles for it because what it really is like there are certain beings that when they tighten up, they basically surrender their physical form. Like the Miscreant is a good example. He just became a big
their mind apparently
giant worm monster, right? Like so the Titans that you encountered in Lestrade, same deal. Whereas like these guys,
Orang and Wilbert retained their cognitive ability.
Yes. And somewhat of their own like
and
humanity.
their physical form.
But but they were just granted this immense amount of power to have access to, and and in that moment, Winnie does a couple things. So Penny,
using her new awoken nature and her connection to her soul bond.
Yeah, Penny's able to shut down really what made Orang dangerous. At which point, you guys
we did the final
take
blows.
him out. Yep. Yeah, and but Penny is lost somehow. Winnie doesn't contact with her. She goes silent.
We don't know if she's dormant at that point. We don't know if she's dormant or lost. But.
Winnie now, her mind has been opened up to who we come to know is the White God, Terrasol.
And he's the big bad behind all the Titans.
And I'd forgotten about this, but like she's basically like her mind is infected.
Yeah.
And so like
like when she goes in like the way Joan did when she went glowy.
Yep.
Like it'll happen to Winnie, but she'll go black.
And her eyes start to kind of leak that kind of like shadow. And
she's really gross.
Yeah. And you guys basically, but the nice thing is you can fly. You guys beeline it to the.
We stopped by the sad racist town.
Sad racist town.
Yeah, where the elves like.
Oh, I forgot you guys even stopped at Fairhaven.
It was very short.
The City of Lights.
Yeah, we got a bite to eat and left.
Yeah.
That's really what happened.
Yeah. But then you guys get to the
gnome, the deserted.
No. The elf.
Oh, that's
Crystal
right.
Kingdom.
That's
you
where
meet back up with Michael Reed.
Michael Reed's there.
And the speaker for the House of Stars.
And Relnor finds the third.
Relnor finds
golem, his golem,
and goes through
his spirit bond.
Probably one of my favorite of the quests.
Part of what I loved about that was the incorporation of actual Joan.
Like, that was the best.
Yeah.
He was so taken off guard. When she started talking.
It was such a great story element and so fun to watch. And it's so fun to integrate.
Catching Eric off guard can either be like this really great, wonderful story moment. Or
if he respects it, it's wonderful.
Or it's like 5 minutes of him thinking before
if he doesn't like it,
he has to process. That's I love catching him off guard at any point. Mm-hmm. I just know like it's either going to be this really fascinating moment where he super engages, or I'll have a chunk of audio to cut out because he's doing all that in his head. So like I constantly am trying like to get him to like tell me about the inner turmoil.
Dang time. Yeah.
He cares so much. Like that was so like I wouldn't ask for anything more.
Don't get me wrong. I love it. I wouldn't change him for the world.
Sometimes I wish you would process more in your head.
I need to. I need to, and I should. I need to take a page out of Eric's book. Just a page. Maybe
it's not a long book.
Maybe a paragraph.
A
title.
The thesis, really.
Just a page number.
Yeah.
It's like a 1.
The audiobook's fine.
Yeah. Just the leaflet, the little thing, the protective thing on the outside.
The forward? Yes. Sorry, Eric. Oh gosh.
I wish he was here. I miss him. But I'm part of why I'm so excited for
getting back into it.
It's because I just miss you guys, and I want to play so bad. I want to revisit Dalfin. I want to get back into the story.
Yep.
But anyway, so
then to jump a little bit, so we get Guinevere, the wolf.
Keep
golem.
traveling.
You guys travel east to the dwarven kingdom of Kazkara.
And during that is when Winnie's tempted by Terrasol.
She's offered power, which I think generally, at least from what was understood by what I remember the fans kind of talking, was like starting to understand like, okay, maybe that's how Titans are made, right? Like, so he reaches out, invites them to have power. So that's kind of starts to establish some of the pattern.
Kind of. I still believe there was something to do with the markings because of...
We find that out later, though.
No, because of Miscreant.
He does mark himself, doesn't he? Yep,
he changes a mark on his chest, and then he starts to transform.
That's right.
And remember, I tried to alter the marks further to try and interrupt the transformation.
It didn't matter, yeah.
But I wasn't able to roll good enough to do anything, and I don't know that you would have let it happen anyway.
Well, one of the things with the language that like I've kind of half invented at this point, it's still not fully fleshed out.
It's a little vague, but it's not bad.
I don't mind it being vague.
No.
I can flesh it out. It's not like I've pit myself to a corner yet.
No. There's still so much on it.
But a lot of it is like is intent. A lot of it has to do with the intent of the author. And so because it's bond, it's the text is imbued with the power of someone's soul. The idea is that like not only does the text have to be like have significant meaning itself, but the intent of the user is also.
But important. The recipient has to be understood and agreed upon. Almost.
Yeah, like someone could write the symbol for fire or for heat, and they could mean it to be a flame. They could mean it to be warm up. They could mean it, you know what I mean? So like, I like the idea that like it's flexible in that sense. So like one symbol can have a myriad of purposes.
It's almost like a fail-safe with two keys.
Yes.
Like both people need to have the key. Both people need to use the key.
Yep.
And it has to be, they have to both know what they're using it for.
Yeah, so like no one can just like write something on you and then you have to also intend the written language.
People can use, now the way that Terrasol uses it, he does allow himself to kind of override people sometimes by the way that he uses it.
And I don't know that I ever explained this, but one of the things is with the glyphs that they use, they're surrendering themselves to him.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
That's the, so
it's almost like a deal with the devil.
They're giving him control. Yeah. So
like they're saying yes, but they don't really know what they're saying yes to all the time.
They're saying yes completely. Yeah. And so it's part of the reason why they are given so much power.
And we learned that more at the beginning of season 2 when something happens. But we find Wilbert in the deserted
and he is a
dwarf place.
He's gone totally mad.
He's got
off
Harris
the deep end
as a hostage.
He's got Harris as a hostage.
I rescue Harris. He transforms
into this epic molten like
another legendary titan.
And you guys are a Titan down. You're a Golem down.
We Golem out. We transform it because right at this point we have level 2s.
Oh, that's right. Transformation.
We learn about transformation when Joan recruits the
World Bridge. Yeah.
Well, it's when Joan recruits the Sturgeon that she learns about it.
Yep.
And then I learn about it at the same time. Relnor gets his Golem and his transforms immediately
because you had trouble bonding with Archimedes.
We tried to transform during the war and it did not work.
You and Archimedes didn't mesh. Like Penny and Winnie meshed more than anybody, like right away. You and Archimedes were like the opposite.
And Guinevere seems more passive about it.
Well, both
trust Relnor more.
I think both Guinevere and Artemis were a little more just kind of passive. They're more like, you passed my test, here you go.
Yeah.
You know, whereas like Penny, I think needed a companion. She didn't really know
because it was never meant to be Penny.
Doing.
We find out later.
Yeah, we learned that it was meant to be
Borscht,
who is this warrior monk dwarf.
He's awesome.
Who saves Penny.
Who's kind of like her surrogate father.
During the Titan Wars and raises her and teaches her how to be a monk. He gets killed because they get found.
He gets killed when he's going to insert his soul into the golem.
But he killed
dies
beforehand.
And unbeknownst to anyone else, she substitutes herself.
Yep, she gives herself. So it really is. I love the idea of like all of this code was put in, but then some elements were put in that were different. So I like the idea that it's almost like breaking a game. You've inserted like the way that Artemis is not fully functioning.
Well, it's like
she's not really meant to be the soul bond.
It's like the Game Genie that allowed you to play with Knuckles on the Sonic levels.
Exactly.
And you're like, I'm not supposed to be able to climb this wall, but now I can.
Yes.
Like so, it's
some things are happening that weren't intended.
Things that interactions.
And some things that were intended aren't working.
Yeah.
So So like there were a couple moments throughout that season where like Joan tried to do something with Artemis and it didn't work, or where like he wasn't really being responsive.
And Artemis was kind of broken. There's something happened to him.
Sometimes he'd be in human form, sometimes a goat, sometimes he'd be a human with a goat face. So like
he was confused himself and didn't know some things.
Yes, he was already aware that something was wrong from the get go.
And he used Archimedes to heal himself a little bit.
Yes.
But I think it wasn't until we found all four that he was able to really make himself whole again.
Yes.
We beat Wilbert. Oh, well, no. Penny goes on a journey where we learn all the... Winnie goes on a journey. That's
Penny's quest, really. Yeah. Like, ultimately, she's not really given a challenge. She's just given Penny's history.
And then she comes out as the Rhino, second form, and after all of our golems are out of juice...
That's right. You guys ran out.
Couch,
yeah.
She comes in and finishes him off.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was so epic.
And there's this great moment with you guys and Wilbert at the end, talking to him. It was one of my favorite, kind of like cradling him as he's dying.
I had to go to him.
Yeah. And
I couldn't not.
He was a friend. Like he really was. He was from your guys' home kingdom. Like you knew him. Like,
and Dalfin's ability to look past the actions,
very perceptive,
into the intent.
Yeah.
Because there's Dalfin had no malice towards him at that point, especially since he was defeated.
Wilbur really thought he was righting a wrong.
And Dalfin understood that, and that's where the sympathy came from.
Yeah. Unlike Orang, who was really just interested in violence.
Dalfin wanted to kill.
And conquer.
Dalfin was like, let me kill him, he's dangerous, just let me take him out.
Very power hungry.
And you were like, no, I have a story I need to tell, please don't kill him yet.
Yep. So we kind of get that. Everyone's united.
We go to check on the still alive and unconscious Harris.
Yep.
And we meet someone who we were introduced to at the very beginning, but we didn't know who's been ahead of us. Justin.
Red-bearded fellow.
The red-bearded captain of Lestrade, who is, and he's been kind of our herald almost.
He reveals himself. I can't remember if we did this in that episode, but he's a half-elf.
He does reveal it in that episode.
And he has kind of the ability to really to foresee.
He's one of the divination.
Yeah, so he's part of the House of Stars. And so he can kind of see glimpses of the future. And so he kind of predicted you guys needed to be put together as a team. He knew you guys were the ones that needed to be sent to the Gnome Island.
He told the elves about us coming to get the wolf.
So he kind of went ahead of you guys in a lot of places. And then he shows up here knowing you're there.
Yeah.
And he basically says like soon, like everyone's coming here. So like the remnants of, we find out Alestria was attacked. One of the reasons that the kingdom of the dwarves is empty is because they united with the White Order.
The White Order and the dwarves
have now usurped and are currently occupying.
They're occupying Lestrade and Alestria.
Yeah, they've basically taken over the four kingdoms for the most part. And the remnants, survivors from Lestrade and Alestria, as well as some support from Fairhaven and although most of Fairhaven is pretty quiet. They are now able to unite in Kazkarik and kind of form kind of the remnants
this
of the four kingdoms.
Refugee society.
Yes, kind of resistance.
It becomes resistance. Which is only made possible by us defeating Wilbert.
And you guys are then there for the between seasons.
And that's where season 1 ends.
Yeah, that's the end of season 1. So season 2, we learn that you guys have been at Kazkarik for several months.
We are now just pros at killing Titans.
You guys have been stationed there. Titans get sent. You defeat them.
We're heroes. We're a team. We're celebrities.
Yeah, we learn about a group of humans from Fairhaven called the Bloodbreakers, who have successfully fought against the bond of the blood bond made by the elves there.
Which is essentially slavery.
And they're kind of almost like a mercenary group, basically, of warrior humans that are long-lived, they heal super fast, and they're incredible fighters.
Well, but they're also just persistently miserable because of their bond.
Yeah, they still feel the need to go back, like to
so
serve.
They're constantly battling with themselves mentally.
Yes, so there's a lot of animosity in.
They are a dark people.
Yes, but they find kind of because of the dark stuff that Winnie's been dealing with.
Yeah, he notices that the leader notices that. What's his name?
Targrave.
Targrave, the Bloodbreaker. That's right.
Love him.
Cool name.
He basically kind of sees a kindred spirit in Winnie, and I think as the leader of his people sees a powerful person in this society and thinks the best thing I can do for my people is to find an ally amongst the. So he
kind of offers her a position of leadership within the Bloodbreakers.
Yes, to become kind of an honorary part of their community because he knows they're going to need to become more stabilized in this Four Kingdoms alliance.
Yeah. We vote for Twilea to become the new leader.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was a big deal. Ronar had a good speech.
Yep, but the thing was, Ronar was like, "But I get to leave. We get to leave the military and do what we want."
That's right. Right.
So we did that.
Yep.
Joan learns about some other people that were studying the. Then we learn about marbles and.
Oh yeah, Bubble.
Bubble.
Bubbles, isn't that Bubble?
I don't remember.
No, wait. It's
there's so many people I don't remember.
There's a lot of little side characters,
and I'm going through a re-listen right now, and I'm close to finishing season 1. So I'm less fresh on season 2.
Main thing in season 2, kind of the beginning,
Christopher Marbles and something. What's the other guy's name? I forget. Anyway,
there's Christopher Marbles. He's the one that shows up, the dwarf that shows up.
I don't know if it's him or if it's the other guy.
Okay.
It might be the other guy.
A dwarf.
A
scholar shows up who's part of the Grey Order.
Yeah.
He had been with the Erden. He knows the ancient script language, the glyphs, better than anybody.
Yes.
And he's able to start outlining some stuff that were big questions from season 1.
Yeah.
About the glyphs, what they mean, how to read them more properly. We've been reading them backwards up to that point.
Yeah.
And how you can read them either way, but when you read them in like the correct format, you realize this isn't a history, this is a prophecy.
Yeah.
And
so Joan gets that little tidbit. Relnor kind of makes peace with Harris because Harris didn't want Twilea to be the leader.
Yeah.
And didn't want Relnor to leave the military.
And Harris and Relnor kind of they are on tough terms.
They're a little on tough terms, but they leave well.
They have a good heart to heart. Yeah.
Dalfin gets to meet Theodoric one more time.
In spirit form,
in a spirit
right?
form,
Like at
the
monk
yellow
temple
petals.
there. Yeah.
And he gives him a riddle or like this weird advice that is still, I'm not unsure.
Kind of it's more like I don't know, like wisdom, I would think.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean anything. Or like it's still hidden in like kind of riddly language, where it's like, you must look beyond what is there underneath the unseen at the heart of the world, which is breaking, or something like that.
Yeah, that's
is that
pretty
somewhat
close.
something close? Yeah,
It's close. Yeah,
but
you got the gist of it.
to Dalfin, it didn't mean a whole lot. He was kind of like, I don't know what that means, but it sounds ominous, you know. And at that point, Dalfin starts pooping out yellow petals when he gets spiritual.
Yeah. Having kind of a deeper connection.
Yeah.
You guys, in that time, you've learned bonding with your soul bonds even more. You guys now have like the ability to meet in a kind of metaphysical realm.
Yes, at the tree.
Yep, to kind of like chat and talk, and you start to train a little bit
and
with
now,
Borst.
The other four, including Borst, exist in that realm together.
Yeah, they're able to like they're kind of like the a LAN party.
That's kind of
the
their
computers
that's
all
kind of their waiting room / permanent existence.
Yeah. And they really, I think we start to realize that these aren't really like it's not a full being. Like they're not really a person as much as they are the shadow of a person.
They're a remnant.
The memories and understandings, like they're not subject to the decay of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're a husk.
Yes, they're not gonna like start going mad because they're in a white void. They're
which is funny because Borst acts bored.
Oh yeah,
so he must just be perpetually bored.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of sad. A personality thing. You know what I mean? He's just the.
But Dalfin does get to start learning some of the way of the Sun Soul.
That's right.
From Borst.
Yeah, which is like a forgotten order.
And we'll get to see how that plays out in season 3 a little bit.
Yeah. So I like that there's some stuff that still like waits to pay off.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else happens there before we leave. I meet a girl at the tree.
Yep.
And we think that she has some significance later on.
Yeah.
I forget if that's ever confirmed.
Not in season 2. Okay. That stays pretty vague.
Okay.
The other big thing that happens is you guys find an elevator in the ancient ruins that Winnie's able to activate.
That's right.
She's been working with...
that shows all the other locations of the ruins.
Yeah. She's been working with Bertul, an orc from the well that's accompanied her. It's kind of become her kind of de facto guardian, protector, companion, who's kind of just with her all the time, teaching her about the language.
Yeah, we forget about him a lot.
He's but he's pretty okay with that. He's not like looking for attention.
He's like, it's like all the benefits of Bird do without the personality.
He lives to serve.
Yeah.
And he believes what he's doing is super important.
Yeah.
So he teaches her about...
He knows his place.
He teaches her more about the language. You guys find this elevator that leads to this big underground space that I think was where Borst and Penny lived.
Yeah.
Before they were found and destroyed. And you guys actually find like a hub where you contact the well. Mm-hmm. And
by accident.
Yeah, by accident. Get when he gets in contact with
what's his name?
Grafar.
That's right.
The librarian and
he's like, who is this?
And Bordeaux.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you guys have that connection, but you also discover waypoints throughout Altera.
We can teleport.
Yeah.
Yeah, we find a fast travel system.
Yep. But as you guys are then kind of preparing to kind of like go somewhere,
Romnor has a meeting.
Big battle happens.
Yeah, with a Erden. And his wolves, which turns out he's evil.
4 wolves that all
and tries to kill us.
Yeah. So they're all like kind of that level 1 Titan. They're all elemental, the giant.
They're
wolves.
animalistic.
Yeah, that just kind of turn into a bunch. And you guys battle them throughout
we fight 3 of them.
Yep.
And then we pin him with his 4th one.
Yep.
He tries to transform and kills himself.
Well, and he doesn't kill himself, but I think Terra's soul takes him. Like
it
it's
kills
kind of
him,
decides to just like that he doesn't want him to keep going.
He gives himself over with. It seems like his understanding was that he would become.
That's what he was intending. Yeah.
But that is not what Terra's soul wanted. So, but since he gave himself up, he didn't have much say in the matter.
That's right. Yeah. So we learn a little bit more about that bond with Terra's soul and what happens.
Yeah.
But he also gives some pretty dark portents about what's happened in the South.
He says that all the leaders have been assassinated. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping he's lying. We never really found out about that.
So I do know what has happened down there. That's all. I've
fleshed all that
out.
Because I'm hoping Dire and Darkstar are okay.
We don't go into it.
Is it Darkstar? Did I get that right? No, it's River Mist. Darkstar is Dire's mom.
That's right.
River Mist
is the
I'm
daughter.
Getting better at
is the daughter of Grey Tree.
Yeah, the daughter of Grey Tree, and Dire, the son of Wolf. Wolf is just Wolf, I think.
Yeah.
Who is a traitor? We don't know how they dealt with him.
Yeah. Yeah. There were some.
Which he may be part of that plot. Who knows?
There were some loose ends.
Yeah.
When you guys had to leave, so. I always
right, because the Iron City was duplicitous as well. They kind of were playing both sides.
Yep. So I always like the idea that the world keeps moving without you guys.
It does. Yes. There's stuff going on.
That it's not like a video game where it's like you can just show up to this town and it's exactly how you left it.
There was a possibility that we could have gone north and missed the war at the World Bridge.
Right. You guys would have been more like a part of the White Order and the dwarves. That would have been the big war that you guys fought in. And then you would have had to go south.
We'd have to deal with the ramifications of whatever that would have happened down south.
Huge army of, orcs and Erden. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Orcs and Erden. They would have buckled.
You remember what he did? He
offered them a truce.
Oring offered peace so long as they decided to fight with him. And if they weren't united, that's all they would have been able to do.
So it would have been the Iron Orcs, the Orcs, and the Erden. Oh,
yeah.
Gosh, that'd have been bad.
Standing between you guys and Dalfin's
Riverwatch would never let them through.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Gar would have stopped him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, definitely. So you guys have this kind of really intense battle. It kind of shakes everybody. Everyone starts to realize we really can't stay here.
Yeah.
You guys know you have to travel, which also means that they can't really continue to squat in Kazkarik. And once the golems are gone, they can't really defend themselves against Titans anymore. So
and we showed that dude a map of the locations of the wells,
which means Terra's soul has the location.
So we think that
the well's in danger.
Not so much the well, but the person at the well. What's her name? Valisol.
Valisol.
We're afraid that Valisol's in danger from Terra's soul because she's been hiding.
And while Winnie was kind of being one of the things that Terra's soul was trying to get out of Winnie during their kind of one-on-one sessions, when he was kind of like just.
Because he found out she was awakened, and she's like, "By my sister."
Yeah, he could see her touch, so he's like, "Where is she? I'm trying to find her."
Yeah, he's like, "I found a hint. I found a thread that I'm going to pull."
Yep.
Yeah.
Another character, I really don't know when do we meet Jimmy?
That was when we went we were actually about to get there.
Oh, that hasn't happened
We
yet.
traveled to the well.
That's season 2.
Yeah.
Jimmy comes season 2?
We've been in season 2, yeah.
Some great stuff happened in season 2.
Season 2 is great, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually,
I love Jimmy.
Technically, we meet Jimmy in like episode 2 during the pirate battle, but we don't know it's him until we see him talking with Valisol when we go to save her.
Because he also meets up with Wilbur. That's the one of the things that Winnie sees in a vision of Kazkarig is that he actually is chatting with Wilbur.
So we find out that he's the herald of the Red God, and at this point, when we meet him, he's not posing a threat.
No,
he's just there to shake things up and to learn.
Very chaotic in nature,
and it makes sense that the Red God would be interested in Valisol as well, because kind of her power is the only is helping to stalemate the Red and the White God right now.
Yep.
Like her existence is helping stalemate them.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of you guys basically go to the well. It's empty. It's been abandoned by the orcs.
No orcs. Except for Valisol. And we find out that she's not in danger. She's going to get out of there.
Yep.
Winnie, I think, has to have a good long conversation
with Jimmy.
With Jimmy. Yeah.
Yep. They have a chat.
I'm the Red God, ain't I?
Yeah. Jimmy. Jimmy's great.
He's great.
Every like NPC that learns about Jimmy that knows him just gives a big sigh. It's great.
But it's not like a Markle Sparkle sigh.
No.
It's a much less,
exasperated.
Well, it's just not as benign as a sigh as Markle Sparkle.
Oh yeah, man. So from there, you guys are on your way to Alestria, right? Like that's you kind of decide that's where everything's happening.
We go like, how can we help? How can we?
Everything's happening.
How can we stop? How can we put a wrench in Terrasol's plan? He's like, man, go to Alestria and cause a ruckus.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, and for some, I don't remember how we learned this, but we think that Davi's also there. Maybe Michael told us.
Oh no, she is there. Yeah, it was. I mean, her and Jimmy are connected.
Oh, that's right, because she works the Red Guard too.
Oh yeah.
So
when she
find
prays,
out,
she talks to Jimmy.
So we're going there for two reasons: one, to find Davi; two, to just try and stop Terrasol.
Yep.
So we get there. We start to kind of nose around the city.
Yep.
We meet
I should say really quickly, the remnant of the Four Kingdoms Alliance, after you guys leave, they make the decision.
That's right. They're going to war.
To go to war with Fairhaven, because Fairhaven's been neutral. Mm-hmm. They've kind of ignored their alliance.
But they have kind of an in. They have that one elf.
They have the prince of the elves, who's
the heir.
Who's the heir to the elves, the Gale Rendar.
He's going to usurp his father.
He's going to usurp his father, and because he has the blood of the royalty, he has the ability to basically counter his father's compulsion over the humans. And so he's sworn to break,
which is pretty huge because there's a large population ready to fight for you.
And they're warriors. But he's sworn to basically free the human population.
Yeah,
from their
whether he
blood
does that or not, we'll see.
So he wants the throne. They get to have freedom. That's the rule. That's kind of what the Bloodbreakers agreed to, because that's why they don't like just straight up murder him when he shows up.
And the rest of the resistance is joining with them to create one massive
and then head south
onslaught.
Yes. Yeah, if they can make a unified north, they can have a strong front.
They can have a strong front against the middle kingdom.
Yeah. And with the intent of you guys also kind of helping blow the way, so that they can actually have a fighting chance. Because besetting,
we're hitting kind of one of the hearts of the new settled White Order. A lot of dwarven guards.
They're all there. It's like everything is here. Like they've created one stronghold.
Yes.
In the center of Altera.
Yeah.
So there really is there's no getting anywhere except through Alestria.
So we kind of go to the heart.
Yep. So everything kind of comes.
We cut to the heart.
Comes right to
and we
the
get
center.
there by teleporting to another nearby
outpost.
Empty ruin.
Ancient ruins, waypoint, yep.
Which is pretty cool. That was a nice touch because it allowed for some flexibility.
Oh, yeah. One of my big things was like a huge chunk of season 1 was held up with just traveling because it takes forever to get places.
But it was nice because it allowed for the world to go on without us.
Yeah.
But it's gotten to the point where now we need to be there for things.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, what's nice is with the Hawk Golem, you guys can travel very far, very quickly.
Mm-hmm. We're able to summon our creatures pretty quickly.
Yeah, and so I like to me that was all very intentional. I don't want to do too much ex machina, but I do want it to progress. I want things to move faster.
Yeah.
So geography is not like the biggest thing in a story. So
not for this story.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys we
get there, we infiltrate, we
sneak your way,
we poke around, we get the attention and run into a warden.
Yes,
by the name of don't stop it. I'm going to get it. No, I'm going to get it. Hold on. It is it's not Alestria, that's already a place.
Here we go.
It is Iredell?
Yeah.
Yes.
Iredell. She's basically like part
like a cat person.
Yeah, kind of cat
Khajiit almost type.
Basically, yeah. I think in D&D they're called what are they called in D&D? The
horrifying.
I can't remember. It's a specific like race in D&D, but I actually kind of made up this whole idea that like any humanoid animal person is a warden basically. So like any like bird person.
Similar how you made like Dragonborn.
Yeah, kind of keepers.
Keepers, yeah.
Yeah, so and
kind of you're repurposing sentient beings that don't exist in your land already.
Yeah. And basically for me, and I don't know if I go into this detail in season 2, but Terrasol and his, and we learn like Artemis, who's basically like his son, they made the Titans, right? Well, Kamasol, the red god who Jimmy serves, he created the wardens. So it's kind of like these are kind of like his rebuff to like if the Titans are unnatural, the wardens are natural. They're very like of the earth, of the land, protectors of what exists. And very, very unique beings. Anyway.
And Guinevere was a warden.
Guinevere was a warden, correct.
Relnor's spirit bond.
Yep. So he's kind of got a connection to the wardens already. Which is part of how you guys find Iredell.
She ends up trusting us and taking us to Davi.
Yes. Oh, that's right. You guys connect with Davi, and you kind of start to learn about what happened to their party, right? Like how it kind of split.
We go to do our reconnaissance. We're like, hey, we got a plan now. Let's get everyone organized, and we're going to do like one like planned attack.
Yep.
But that kind of gets thrown out the window when me and Winnie get held up in it kind of goes south real quick.
You wanted to kind of our reconnaissance mission.
And while we're reconnaissing, Joan, Relnor, and Davi get arrested. I don't know if Davi's there when it happens, but we find out that she's arrested as well. Okay.
No, she is. They all get arrested together.
But she gets taken separately from
Podge and some pretty strong.
We learned that Podge is like a White Order paladin.
Yes. He's a paladin of Terrasol.
Which is like weird and like it's confusing and
eventually we come to find out that like
frustrating.
The council that basically rules the merchant council that for more or less has ruling power in Alestria, they basically chose to go to war. So like there was an opportunity to surrender to the White Order and the dwarves and like nobody had to die. And so Podge was kind of on the group of like, why?
Podge has the understanding of everybody voted and said, okay, we're going to surrender. And people still fought anyway. That was wrong.
Yes. 3 out of the 5 merchant council decided that they would surrender for the sake of like not letting people die. And the 2 most powerful council members.
Do we learn that they're looking for the queen too? Like, do we find out at that point they're looking for the queen? Because we thought the queen stayed back.
You do. Yeah. No, the queen is missing. That's the general idea is the queen is missing. So the 2 most powerful merchant council members, the one who's in charge of the military and the one who's in charge of food and farming production.
Yeah.
They basically decided along with Harris and Davi and Michael Reed, who leads the underground,
to
basically usurp the other 3's vote.
Screw that. We're not going to surrender.
And basically they let the dwarves start to come in and then they turn on them. So it's kind of an underhanded move, but with the, I think, good intent of
not surrendering
to Terrasol. So like that's the general idea. But for Podge, it really twists who he thinks is in the right.
Yes, it does. And the way I don't know if this is generally what they think happened, but this is how they spin it, because we meet Twin Step, who was supposed to be the betrothed of the queen.
Who?
Remember that halfling?
Twin Step.
Wasn't that his name? He's like he's the guy who was like in charge of the whole city of the White Order, at least. Like he didn't tell the.
Oh, is it Harold Twin Step? Is that his name? Or
I don't remember the first name.
Okay, yeah.
He was supposed to marry the queen, and he was like, and they kidnapped her. Like
part of the takeover. Yeah, that's right. That was part of the whole you surrender, I marry the queen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it becomes like a joint thing at that point.
Yes.
Like she's not losing her authority.
How am I forgetting this stuff?
I mean, you wrote a lot of stuff.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I'm really it's really funny to me that I go like, there's a lot more like substance to this than is in my memory. Like I'm really glad I put time in on this.
There's a lot of stuff.
This world.
Yeah. So we learn they make it sound like that these guys that did end up bucking the system kidnap, quote unquote, the queen.
Yeah,
we don't know.
But when you guys were at Kazkarik, there's no word of the queen, and
they didn't say they had the queen. So I have theories
she's missing as well.
I have theories who I think the queen is.
Yes, yeah. You think she's
I don't know if that's ever
gal
confirmed
you met at the
or not.
tree? Yeah. Who was singing a song that you never let me sing?
Yeah.
Wrote a whole song, came with a melody, and you just didn't let me sing it. So
I thought we wanted you to sing it, and you were like, "It's a great song. It's a beautiful song."
No, I was going to, and you just said, "I don't want to listen. I just do that." No, you.
Oh, really?
You intentionally told me not to. I had like written lyrics. I'd come with this whole like thing.
I'm sorry, man.
It's okay.
I thought you were like testing me. I thought you were like being like, no, man, you want me to sing it? I'll sing it.
There was lore in the song. It was like I had little hints.
Do you want to sing it now?
I don't remember it. It's written in my notes. I'd have to hunt it down.
Okay. You should sing it sometime. Next on our first.
Here's the deal. I think I let you bully me too much. I let
100%.
I don't play along 100%. Enough as a DM. I think I need to get better at kind of flowing with the punches.
Here's the thing. No. We definitely bully you, and you sometimes take it too much. This is what I'm learning, and I'm learning a lot of. Can I go off tangent a little bit?
Yeah. Okay.
This is long. I apologize.
We're getting close to the end of season 2.
I didn't used to listen to a lot of D&D podcasts. I just enjoyed playing D&D. But since I have been able to play, I have been trying to find ones that I listen to that appeal to me.
We found one we both. You showed me one. I loved.
They don't all appeal to me, but there's one that I've been watching.
Yeah.
Dimension 20.
Oh,
it's
so good.
College Humor's D&D campaigns.
It's really should be its own thing though. Like it's really like
in their subscription thing. It is.
Yeah.
But anyway, the way that they play and the etiquette that they have made me realize how much I fall short as a player.
Well, I think to me, it's not so much showing us fall short. I think it's showing us going like, okay, we're just a bunch of friends of family. You know what I mean? We're not performers. We're not professional. Like, I'm not. These guys are like, well, these guys have practiced the craft.
This is their job.
Well, and they're in the world of
improv.
Improv.
Yes.
Like it's
but
perfect.
Beyond their improvisation, there's an etiquette. There's a level of almost job-like role and mutual respect that takes place in that setting. And I'm not saying we need to have that, but me as a player, I want to, after seeing that, I want to listen better. I want to talk less. And that doesn't mean I don't want to talk or like not be in it, but I need to talk less so I can listen more. And I want to talk when I should talk and not just try and get words in like I do in a podcast.
And I think that's great.
But also I want to try and have, and again, I'm not saying that anyone else needs to do this. I'm talking solely about what I think I need to do now. And I want to try and have more respect for you as the DM, and show you more respect. And because I don't think you've been able to, at least with me, I don't think you've been able to walk in that authority that makes it for a good time. You know what I mean? Like there's a certain,
we have a great time.
We do. But I do think that in order for a game of Dungeons & Dragons to work, the DM has to have a level of understood authority. And I think that allows the game to be what it is and function the way it's supposed to.
And I'll never. There's a very strong difference between
but because we're all
having
family,
authority and commanding it. You know what I mean? Or demanding,
and you're never going to flex it.
No,
and you shouldn't have to.
No.
And I just mean I'm still gonna give you crap. You know what I mean?
Oh, I hope so.
But I want it to be well timed. I want it to be appropriately timed.
Yeah.
And I want it to be in a way that makes for good content and not just to poke fun at you.
I think here's the deal. I feel like we've gotten a lot better. Once you hear this new season, I think you're going to be very impressed.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We've gotten a lot better.
Because we definitely were learning as we go.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you listen to like season 1, we talk over each other a lot.
It's a lot.
But seriously, like
and a lot of it's me.
In the recordings that I have for season 1, or season 3, what we're getting ready to do, there's a lot less of that. It still happens because it's us. Here's the last thing
we're much more peers than we are a DM and players.
I think it's great. I love that, that we're watching stuff and we're seeing things we want to do to improve how we operate as players and as a DM. But I never want that to take precedence over good time at the table.
No, of course not.
So,
and my understanding is that if I can implement these appropriately, the time's going to be even better. Not just for me, but for everybody.
It makes more space.
Like it makes more space. It's going to allow more people to talk more. It's going to allow more people to be heard better. It's going to allow you to walk in that DM authority more appropriately.
Yes.
And I think that's going to make for a more enjoyable experience all around.
Right on.
Not just from you guys or me, but
and I really want to learn to roll with the punches more. I love
I think you're great at rolling with the punches.
In Dimension 20.
We punch you a lot.
Well, I just feel like is it Brendan? Is that his name?
Brennan.
Brennan. Yeah. I feel like he's so good at really letting the players have a lot of agency just in the creativity of the moment.
He does, but it's so, and this is why it works with him, is the way he wields that authority is so gracious.
Oh man.
Like he's not overbearing with it.
No.
But he does have the final say in everything and they never question him.
That's true.
Like he'll say that doesn't work, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Or but he lets them have so much freedom and so much fun.
One of my favorite things I learned from
he doesn't use that authority to squash their creativity.
Yeah.
Or force them into his game.
And the gold standard of DMing is Christopher Perkins. And the one of the things I learned from him watching him DM years ago is that he almost never says no. Mm-hmm. What he will say is, like give me a reason to say yes. That's kind of his like make me love what you're wanting to do, and I'll let you do it. Like it's such a great way to approach, rather than just going like, no, you can't do that. No, it's not going to happen.
Well, and it's fun to see someone say, yeah, go for it. And then they do it, and then it doesn't work, and it never was going to work, but he doesn't say that.
Yes.
But then something bad happens, but the players aren't like angry or blaming the DM. You know what I mean? Like it's
just all part of the fun.
It's this understanding and this it's
it doesn't take you out of the game.
It's understanding of roles and working within the appropriate places.
Yeah.
And when everybody's on the same page and working together, it's such a beautiful, harmonic, fun experience.
Yeah. And
I feel like we definitely have a lot of that. I just know that me as a player can be better, and I want to be better.
Right on.
So
right on,
I feel like I've been learning in this hiatus, and I'm really excited to apply what I know and revisit Dalfin and learn more about Altera. So sorry, I just wanted to say that.
No, that's great. I'm pumped too. Just to be clear though, the first 4 episodes of this new season is not the new Dalfin.
Not at all.
Because we already recorded all that.
It's the end of old Dalfin. Is what it is.
Anyway, getting back to season 2, you guys, you learn a couple things about the White Order.
We get arrested.
But before that, the Dalfin and Winnie and Iritdel.
You guys, we see the white dragon.
You see a white. Basically, it's what Artemis is.
Yeah.
Joan's soul bond,
but a white version. Oh, and we see
but still alive. Like
and we see a red dragon,
not a spirit thing.
I run into a red dragon.
They're basically dragonborn. They're the humanoid. They're not as big as the keepers.
Yeah, they're not dragons.
As like Terrasol and Valsol. Yeah. They're just kind of like beefy and large. But they are draconic, and they are one is white and one is red,
and they are foreign to our world as we know it.
Yeah, but they command a lot of authority. They
seem to work outside or like at par level with the upper echelon of the White Order
with Twin Step.
Yeah,
and
they're kind of like they seem to be like the Darth Vader to their Grand Moff.
Yeah.
It's like they're both on the same kind of authority level, but one functions outside of the system.
Yeah. So Twin Step is like the acting ruler of the White Order and this new Alestria.
Yes.
But the leader of
he's the figurehead
the
of
White
that,
Inquisitors is Cypress Cantor, which is kind of a figure that it's just touched on. We never know a lot about him. Mm-hmm. He's kind of a figure of myth and kind of mystery.
Yeah.
But we do know the Inquisitors are dangerous, and they're beings that subdued tons of wizards.
And we learned that he's conducting some kind of experiments.
He's doing a lot of experiments, and they basically have their own castle in Alestria, and they always have. So that's been part of Alestria since the Four Kingdoms was started. So the White Order and the Inquisitors really turned on their own kingdom to help the dwarves conquer it.
Yeah,
and the dwarves are more or less like serving the White Order. We learned that the dwarves they worship the white god.
We haven't seen a dwarf leader yet. No. And I'm very interested why.
Yeah.
And who's commanding them, like who, or like how this all took place.
That's some lore that's been really quiet in our stories.
Yeah, which we've never explored.
And for me, it was kind of a personal thing. I'm kind of a big dwarf guy.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to really rebuff my love of dwarves by making them not only kind of just villains in the story,
kind of pushovers,
but just not have a lot of depth in the world building. I wanted to really make sure that they weren't going to like steal my creativity. And so the classic dwarf stuff, Harris for me was you
didn't want them to arrest your attention.
No, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I wanted to put a lot more effort into what orcs could be, what barbarians could be, elves could be.
I love what you've played with. I love that you've made humans slaves to elves. I love that you've made elves domineering. I love that you've made orcs barbaric, but also intelligent and also societal and inventive. Like, so you've got all these facets of humans, orcs, elves.
Yeah. I really like that the Erden were the ones that actually understand the language better than
the most traditional race you probably have in Altera is the gnomes.
Oh yeah,
But even them,
that's my love letter to just to tell you honest, the gnomes of Altera is my love letter to the what's it called? The Dragonlance novels.
Okay.
I loved those were the first D&D novels I ever read, and they got me really into D&D.
Okay.
And the gnomes
that's their portrayal of the gnomes.
They live on their own island. They have a big mountain. I can't remember what they call it. All their names are wacky, super long, and so like nobody actually calls them by their real names.
Almost like Nordic in nature, like
just no. It's like they're like just obnoxious.
Like
No. Like spoon, fork, seven, knife. Like it's like really just lots of words. I think it's been a long time.
Spoon, fork, seven, knife. What made you come up with those?
I think they're the name of their mountain is Mount Wonder. It just because like. Nobody knows what it's for.
Everyone's wondering what it's about.
It's something like that, yeah. But I called ours Mount Wander.
The Wandering Mountain.
The Wandering Mountain, yeah.
Because it looked like it moved over the clouds.
Yeah, exactly right. So very much
an homage.
It's an homage. Yeah. It's an homage to Dragonlance because I love those novels.
That's cool. I didn't know that. So that makes sense.
Yeah,
okay,
but
cool.
yes, they are. It's very traditional.
They're more traditional than all the other races.
Yeah.
So I think you were successful in that.
However, I did make them German. That's pretty new.
Pretty great. Yep. And that accent, it went.
So much fun.
It started so strong and then really dropped off. It's not bad.
Hey, in season 3, it's great.
It is?
Yeah.
We haven't done season 3 yet.
I just finished editing an episode.
Oh, it's pretty good?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, you brought it back. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, man, it's great. I feel pretty good about it. So, but yes.
Maybe I'm thinking of the Erden.
The Erden ebbs and flows.
And even your Australian sometimes
goes
into Scottish.
I spent so much time trying to create the Erden's accent. And so once you guys left the South, it left me. Like it really left me. That whole speech. Also, the Star Wars stuff screwed me. As soon as I realized their accent was just like a hop, skip, and a jump from the Naboo.
Well, and here's the thing, it really wasn't. It was just there were a couple words.
Yeah.
That
to the sacred place.
Well, Tinkin. You said Tink.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not like a Nordic saying of think. Like it was just funny.
Yeah. It wasn't great.
That's one of my all-time favorite moments. Dear Lord God.
You guys, Relnor and Winnie Relnor and Joan get arrested.
They get arrested, but then released by someone whom we met at right before the first Titan attack. He was heading up the Inquisition.
Yeah, he was an Inquisitor. What
was his name?
I honestly don't remember. He's a throwaway character, man. We can forget him.
Anyway, he's an elf.
He's an elf, but I like turning that stuff on their heads. You know what I mean? He was doing a job, but now that it's turned to war, he doesn't like his job. So he you know what I mean? It's like he was falling in line before when the Four Kingdoms Alliance was a thing. When the Four Kingdoms Alliance broke down, he didn't like that. So he's now
Gemini.
That
was his name.
He kind of became like kind of friendly. He's like, hey, if you guys wait for one of the stewards to come here, well,
it looks like he's just trying to save some face or grab somewhat little modicum of authority he can.
Yeah.
And he's like, if I have them meet with the main dude, maybe I'll be on the in. Mm-hmm. Doesn't work for him. No. But we get to meet Twin Step.
Yep.
And me and Winnie just kind of
and you guys are all brought in there. You're all brought together. Yeah.
Winnie sneaks up holding a bunch of boxes, and I jump down from a roof.
You have an encounter with what does he call himself? Null.
Null, the red dragonborn.
The red steward.
Steward. So
it's the idea is like if these draconic beings are keepers, then the people who they created, like they're kind of their offspring, are stewards. So like they own the thing. These are the people that help them care for it.
And he seems a little kind of like a little Eeyore-ish.
He's super depressed. Yeah. And he's
going through the motions.
He broke his oath to his god and to Kamisol.
That made him kind of ownerless and purposeless.
Yes. And so he now calls himself Null. He's like, I'm a
nobody.
No purpose. And so I'm now.
So he's doing what the red guy tells him to do.
He's doing what the white guy tells him to do.
Oh, sorry. The white guy. I'm sorry.
Yes, Vast.
He's red. Yeah.
Vast, the white steward that's there is kind of the guy running.
Because he's got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
And he's not going to follow his own.
Super powerful. They're both very strong.
But I run away from him when I'm doing the reconnaissance.
Yep.
But then he sees me when I'm walking in with everybody else, and I'm like, oh, hello, first time meeting you. And he doesn't care so much that he doesn't say anything.
Yep.
He's just kind of waiting to see. He's kind of letting it play out.
Yep. I forget how you guys kind of win him over.
We don't. As we're leaving, they're like, Twin Step's like, okay, you can go, enjoy the city. We're watching you.
Really not threatened.
Kind of. Yeah. Doesn't care.
It's a real power move.
But we do kind of.
They don't know you guys are the Golem writers.
That's true. And we do make some claims. And I think that gets Vast's attention about the Titans. And I think that gets vast attention. So Null is escorting us out, and I mention Artemis.
That's what it is. And they know each other. That's because they're both. Yeah.
They knew each other when they were stewards together.
Yeah.
Around. Yeah. And so we mentioned Artemis, and Null goes, "Follow me."
Yeah.
And takes us to this underground place where we meet a naked Joshua, who is different from Jimmy.
That's the first time you guys meet him,
and
right?
Justin. Yes.
Okay, so Joshua is a character that's existed for me for a while,
and he is one of the Undying.
Yes, and he's an immortal. The thing. Can I say some stuff about Joshua that we don't know?
Okay.
So Joshua, when he's immortal,
when we meet him, he's naked and old.
He's naked, old, and dying. He's trying to harness some ancient power that's been residing deep underneath the kingdom.
Behind a seal that was broken, that was Null's job to guard.
Yes, which is why he's Null.
Yeah.
So he was Noble. That was his name.
Yeah.
He's now Null, and so Joshua was trying to harness the power, failed at it, died. You guys see the amber orb he had with him start to glow, and as it glows, he comes back to life.
And he's like, "Give it back, please."
He's rehealed. Yep. And
Runner's like, "Oh, okay."
He has kind of a really strong bond with it. Jimmy shows up, right?
Nope.
No.
He tells us his plan.
He mentions Jimmy though.
He mentions that he doesn't like Jimmy.
Yeah, even though Jimmy's basically like the antithesis to him.
Yes, because he's the white god.
Yes.
But he's trying to kill Cypress Cantor.
So Jimmy is the will of the red god. Mm-hmm. Joshua is the will of the white god.
Cypress Cantor is the mind or the something of the white god.
Yeah, the mind. Yeah,
the mind of the white god.
Yeah, so Justin basically we learn. Do we learn that Justin is the mind of the?
I think so.
I
don't know if we learned that, but we know that Justin is working with the red guy.
I think Noble kind of tells you guys that there was a war between that. They're all siblings. So like the red god and the white god were brothers. They fought, and in doing so, they basically didn't kill each other, but they separated their power.
And they killed everyone else. Or the war killed everyone else.
The war killed everyone else. Yeah. Once they had defeated everyone,
except for Vala, Terra,
and Kama.
Yeah.
So the soul siblings, the
white, the red, and the gray, the red, and the white.
Yep. And basically they won the war, and now they got to do whatever they wanted with this new kind of world.
Yeah.
And Kama Soul and Terra Soul disagreed on what to do.
Yeah.
Val Soul's
so they've been at odds.
I'm just here. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she's the one that kept them from killing each other, but
she is trying to persist.
She's trying to keep things status quo.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Terra Soul's trying to order everything. Kama Soul's trying to break everything. So they're very much like compelling forces. But yeah, when the unmoving object meets an immovable force,
but it's at that point that we learn that the will of the white god is at odds with the mind of the white god.
That's right.
Which is seemingly unique.
Terra Soul, yeah.
So so he's like, I'm going to go do that, and we're like, okay, we're going to go do something else.
Yeah. So the wills basically are immortal beings, and the minds are somewhat reincarnated for the most part. They're basically they being hop.
Gotcha.
So it's more like a
reincarnation kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah. Like they are their own being, but the essence of the keeper is kind of part of them.
Okay.
And that in essence finds a being. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Consistently.
It inhabits.
Yeah. Okay. So the potential for the keeper is always within that person.
Interesting.
And I think there's a piece of them that will always know what they are.
So, but he goes his own way, essentially.
He goes his own way, creates his big epic spear.
We kind of plant the seed in Null. We're like, hey, Artemis made some of himself, so can you.
Yep.
Things are about to change. Get ready.
Yep. And you guys don't know this, but this is some Joshua lore.
Okay.
I like Joshua.
And who's Joshua? Who's the naked guy?
He's the naked guy. Okay. He's the will of the white guy. Okay. Yeah. He is. He was prisoner in Fairhaven.
That's right.
For 500 years.
I think we did talk about this on one autopsy, but I didn't remember it.
Yeah, they basically had his soul cairn, the kind of the orb, and were experimenting on it to try and find immortality. If you remember, this is a real deep cut, but the way that the ruins were found on the Gnome Island in season 1 was through one of the gnomes who had been experimenting with necromancy
and with pieces that were being shipped to him
from the elves.
From the elves.
The north.
The elves were wanting to find the the key to this.
Yep. And so the
gnomes are working on it.
The very same elves were experimenting on Joshua to find immortality.
Gotcha.
So a lot of the necromantic magic that's being used in the Four Kingdoms originated with Joshua.
Out of Joshua.
Out of the experiments done to Joshua, like basically they would just kill him over and over again.
Yeah.
And just all these different ways. So he's an angry being and
He's
kind of mad. He's like a guy
in multiple senses of the word.
You just don't ever want to be in his crosshairs, but it's really helpful if he's got your enemy in his.
Yeah, if you have a like goal,
yes,
that is good.
But he's just as interested in killing Justin as he is in killing Cypress' character.
He kind of wants it.
Justin's an ally, so it's someone you guys don't want him to kill.
Yeah,
that's kind of was the impasse with Relnor. Was kind of going like, we're not going to, because he initially says, "Come with me." You know what I mean? You guys would be a great distraction.
We wanted to make a deal.
Yeah.
Like we contemplated it. Like some of our party.
But he would only agree if you guys would let him kill Justin. Yeah. So it was really an impasse.
Dalfin was kind of like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like
no allegiance to.
Well, he's like, I don't want any of these people controlling us. Like, let's take him out.
Yeah.
Because the problem, Dalfin's scared that if we take out Terrasol, that then our new problem will be
the Red God,
Kamasol.
Yeah.
And with no Valisol to stop him, we now got a doubly hard fight on our hands.
And really, the only real I think positive advocates you guys have for Kamasol were Davi and Iridel. Like Jimmy really wasn't doing anybody favors.
No,
and
although I liked him, but
it was
hardly an ally.
Yeah. And even Davi had been kind of somewhat duplicitous, so it was hard to. I think you guys, and you didn't really know Iridel super well, so there's
Davi seems a little almost like a zealot. Like I feel like she's a little too deep.
Yeah.
To maybe see the reality.
So
I think she has a bunch of good intentions.
Yep. But yeah, so you guys, you learn a lot in that kind of there's a lot of lore dispensed.
There's a lot
between Joshua and Noble.
Some of it's suspense, a lot of it's implied. Yeah. But yeah, a lot comes from that encounter.
From there, you guys go to
we learned that they're doing experiments on Davi, so we were trying to save her.
That's right.
Before any of our
that is kind of the culmination of season 2.
It is. Before any of our plan can kick off, we try and save Davi.
Yeah.
And when we go to do that, we find ourselves in a fight.
Yep.
The fight is quick. It's seemingly over fast, and then something happens.
Yeah. So I had intended for this impending war for Alestria to be the end of season 2, but with the baby coming, we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah,
I wasn't really proud of the production we were able to put behind the episodes. I just wanted to get episodes out, and so there wasn't a lot of editing going on. Our audio wasn't super great, and
we did some remote stuff.
Yeah, what's crazy is we got a Hank Green sponsored an episode. With his book,
which is a bummer that was so late and so close to all that.
But it was during the finale, so that's kind of cool.
That was really cool.
Very grateful for that. He reached out. He's like, anybody with a small podcast, I want to sponsor your podcast. And so that was kind of I love the Hank brothers are some of my favorite people.
Oh, they're great
on the internet.
They're so wonderful.
So just put out good stuff. Anyway,
it's nice to have entertaining thinkers.
Who are, it's nice to see people that are like really successful, but also good. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of times we just equate like people are right because they're successful.
And not just good, but intelligent.
Yeah. It's like, okay, like you're correct because you have an audience, which is just that's not right.
No,
that's not healthy.
No.
And so for me, it's really nice to know like the quality of these people goes beyond the success of their platforms.
Yeah.
So, it was really neat, not just because they paid us money to sponsors. You know, I'm not just saying that.
No, because you were proud to be sponsored by somebody that you admire.
It really, and it wasn't like we were getting like a huge check. It was just like such a cool opportunity that I would have hated to miss it. So I was really thankful that worked out.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And so the season finale was a battle with this really dark being.
We go down, we knock out some bookworm, we take out this crazy, scary sorcerer.
Yeah, you see a lot of weird beings in the.
That's true. We walk through, we find a mushroom people.
The White Tower. There's a huge library there.
Yeah.
You meet a great librarian.
We sneak into the back room.
You sneak into the back room.
Downstairs.
You go downstairs. You find Davi.
We knock out a nerd.
Yeah.
We
Who's
find
just at a desk. Yeah.
But there's somebody else there. It's not just Davi.
That's right. The guy who's torturing her for the most part. He's kind of this dark.
And in another room, in a chair that's being oppressed.
Justin. That's right.
Yep.
It's magically suppressed, right? And Relnor goes after him.
Relnor's trying to get him out the whole time that we're fighting that guy over that's torturing
right.
Davi.
But there's that's kind of like magical like gravity that like Relnor's fighting.
And we get him out. We rescue Davi. Davi's like, get out of here. Justin's like, get out of here.
That's the last thing he says is run.
And then the book nerd gets up. And that's Cypress Cantor.
Yeah.
And we're like, holy crap, we're depleted. We don't have our golems.
Out of spells. Yeah.
We this is bad. We are in trouble.
And that is
the end of season 2.
Oh, I felt so bad. I feel so bad. A cliffhanger, man. A cliffhanger. So,
dude, hey, man, in a trilogy, episode 2 is always a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Not usually that intense, but yeah.
So, yeah, this looming dark force, the white god, Terrasol, has kind of been like this distant, super preternatural figure now is in the flesh.
We are now face to face with the mind of Terrasol in the form of Cypress Cantor.
Yep.
And all the power that comes with that.
Yep.
So yeah, we were Dalfin was feeling very good because we really took out that powerful dude single-handedly, like not single-handedly, but very handedly.
Oh yeah.
Like me and
it was to me it was a picture of how much you guys have grown as a team.
I think
you worked together so well.
Winnie took out the table dude. Relnor rescued Justin. Me and Joan took out the wizard guy. And then I think Winnie helped at the end with that.
It was just like, it was a hard fight. It did not make it easy for you guys.
No, but we were quick and decisive and effective.
Yes.
And he could have done a lot worse to us.
Oh, way worse.
Yeah. So I was happy we took him out as much as we did, but we were down. I'm down key.
Yep.
We're all down health.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it was still a hard fought battle.
But yeah, what I love is like the very beginning, like season 1, you guys were not a strong team. Like there was a lot of discourse like in your guys' like unity.
I was not super effective.
Very discordant. And what's cool is though, like
Winnie's
after
learning her spells.
Yeah,
you know,
you guys found your golems, but I think more than that, you kind of found your team. And so like you guys kind of became united.
Well, and that I thought that was what was fun about season 2 is we did so much outside the golems.
You got to be your team. Yeah, that was the hardest thing for me. Season 1 was constantly meanwhile back at the farm. Like it was constantly split party. And now as a DM, I love it.
Yeah.
Because it's so fascinating storytelling to have multiple things happening at one time. But like the very first big battle, Joan's fighting a creature on the Gnome Island. You and Relnor are fighting and helping to save people.
And Winnie's trying to hide her parents from a giant bull.
Then the war at the World Bridge happens. All of you split up to convince all the different tribes to unite.
Then we come back together to fight.
Then you all come back together at the very end to fight. So it's like we constantly were doing split narrative stories. And even like we go north and you're meditating with Archimedes. Relnor's going on a quest for Guinevere. Joan and Winnie are learning stuff.
In a library,
like in a library from the elves. So it's like we constantly split.
Well, and it by the nature of the golems, we kind of have to.
Oh yeah.
So now that we have them all, we can stay together easier.
But yeah, you guys were almost never separate. I think the one time you guys really separated.
Reconnaissance. And even then we were still in pairs.
It was like, but yeah, and it didn't go well. Like in
speak for yourself.
Did not go well.
I think being able to sneak into one of the most highly guarded places unseen and then to get out uncaught, super successful.
We'll just ask the rest of your team how they felt about that moment in time.
I stabbed a horse. It was great.
I would say as a team, not great.
Maybe not. Dalfin felt pretty good about it.
The 2 captured, 1 left very confused and uncertain what to do. 1 having the time of his life. Sure. Great teamwork.
Yeah.
It was.
I jumped out a window.
It was, it's funny because that's really like a quintessential D&D thing is don't split the party.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I think it's fun narratively to split the party. So I tried never to like punish you guys for splitting.
Do we get to talk about the format of these first 4 episodes?
I would like to. And I'm going to at the very beginning of the episode.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
Because speaking of grouping the party and splitting the party, I think that's a good segue into the opening of season 3.
So season 3 was kind of a unique challenge because I really wanted to start season 3 out very differently. I wanted a lot of time to pass. I wanted to get to the war in season 2, and then I wanted there to be a span of time between 2 and 3 for our characters to kind of change. Like we're all unified, but I wanted us to grow so that we could then have like kind of some unique challenges.
It's the classic anime trope of everybody goes their separate ways to become stronger and comes back as these unique abilities and
like more powerful, but they're still someone discordant as a team. Like they now have to kind of
Luke coming back to rescue
relearn
as a
each
Jedi
other.
master.
It's so I wanted that. And so to kind of like not really have the cake and eat it too, but I think create a new cake.
I think it's what we would have done even if we would have been allowed to resolve that battle at the end of season 2.
Oh yeah. Like to me, the story progressed the same way it should.
Yeah.
But what we're doing with season 3 is each of the first 4 episodes will be one half the war. Will be one half this
final epic battle.
Final
and guys,
conflict.
It's epic.
And
it's crazy.
So each episode will be like a piece of that conflict, and then it will kind of cut
the battle for Alestria.
At points that very intentional points. It will cut to one of our characters in this kind of time jump
in the distant future, right before season 3.
Yes, and so we're what's really cool for me is
where season 3 is going to kick off.
We didn't, and it's so fun to me because this is D&D, right? You can't plan half this stuff. Mm-hmm. So I came up with this format. I didn't know how it would work out, but we've recorded everything. I have all of the character kind of like catch ups for like
you have all the pieces,
the time jump, and so quickly I was able to go, okay, first we'll do this part of the battle, then this person's story, then we'll do this part of the battle, then this.
Are you allowed to say who's in the first episode?
So the very first one will be Joan. Okay. I think I know the order for the rest.
Okay.
But I don't want to say until they're all polished.
It's nice to know the first one.
I like having some flexibility, but definitely Joan for the first one.
So over the span of these 4 episodes, we're going to get to see the entirety of the battle
play out. Yeah.
So it's going to be a 4-episode battle with interspersed future visions of the 4 separate characters in each episode.
Yep. And so what's really fun for me is and everyone did so well. Because we're seeing the after effects of this conflict without fully understanding what happened.
The ramifications.
So it's really cool to me because there's tons of little hints and side glimpses.
So the only real spoiler is we survive.
That's it. But I've made that clear from the very beginning. From season 1, I said, I'm not going to kill lead characters.
It's not a real spoiler.
So like yes, plot armor is real, but that's not the richness of the story for me. Mm-hmm. The richness of the story for me is what happens to the characters.
What happens to the characters, yeah.
So the possibility of danger, bodily harm, very real.
I still wonder what it would have been like if Winnie were to accept that power when it was offered.
Ooh.
I love to think about that.
And here's the deal. If one of you had made a compelling case to like go, I'm going to sacrifice
to go
my character,
evil or go rogue or something.
Yeah. I would welcome that.
Or like the fan theory of Evil Joan. But like that, I loved that.
Yeah. What I didn't want was, miscreant bit you too hard. So
someone slipping on a stone.
You got to roll a new
breaking
character.
Their neck.
Yeah.
Some pointless, meaningless death.
I really wanted to avoid
no
that.
Story.
Like if a death happens in a campaign, especially for me, like a published campaign, I wanted to have significance. And so I kind of and because I wanted this to be for all ages, I just thought, let's just make it clear we're following these characters. Like it's anybody who watches Voltron, they don't say it explicitly. But if you sat them with a showrunner, you would know we're never going to kill these characters.
This is Lord of the Rings, not Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So that's a great way to articulate it. And I tried to never do it too explicitly in episodes because I feel like that would break the narrative a little bit.
Well, and the NPCs are not as safe, and that's okay.
But I've made it clear to you guys as players. But I've also made it really clear that
Harris could have died at Wilbert's hand.
Yes,
that could have happened.
And I'm very thankful that you guys have never let that play into your play styles. Nobody uses plot armor to get away with stuff.
No, never.
And I do feel like
Dalfin's recklessness is purely character.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with my disregard for his safety.
Well, and oftentimes it leads to consequences.
It's 100%, and it should, and I'm glad it does.
Yes, and consequences that you may not like, that Dalfin may not like. So it's not like
that may be inconvenient.
For everybody else.
Everybody.
The miscreant battle is a really good example. Like Dalfin was nearly out in that battle, and
but I saved everyone. Thank you very much.
He took a giant bite, and you did not save everyone.
Yes, I did. I drew his attention. I kicked him into a wall while everyone was running away.
But I would say Joan really saved everyone.
Well, at the end when we were out,
the only one who could defeat it.
Yeah, I couldn't defeat it, but I helped everyone get out of the cave.
I guess. Credit
where credit's due. Come on.
Dalfin did
He almost got eaten because he was trying to help everybody. Not just because he was looking to pick a fight.
All right. I'll give it to you. So he can fly. He can fly now.
He can fly.
You can fly. So
Popped up. Now I'm Irish.
do I say that?
That's what I think you're trying to be German, and I forget who you're doing. But you go, and then he popped up. Now I'm Irish. I forget what it is, but it's very funny.
That is Titans of Altera up to the present.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I apologize if this was a little bit of a longer autopsy. We wanted to recap everything to go in with a fresh mind and understanding.
I hope that wasn't too crazy. Do you feel like that was too crazy?
I don't think so. I think we hit pretty much everything. I think the only people that we didn't mention was like Jimmy and Topher.
We mentioned Jimmy.
No, Jerry. Sorry, so I meant.
Oh, yeah. Who cares about Who cares about Jerry?
I wish you guys could see Josh's face when he...
I'm so disappointed that you mentioned him. You have no idea how much I wish he's just forgotten.
Man, I agree. I
cannot rid myself.
I hate him. Yeah.
Yeah, but now that you mentioned him, I'll never...
He's the Kim Kardashian of Altera. He's popular for no reason. He's popular for popularity's sake.
He's popular because Kelsey knows I don't want him to be popular.
Exactly.
That is exactly what it is.
He's the troll. He's the troll of Altera.
Here's the deal. What's his name?
The Forgotten Forest?
No, Jerry.
Jimmy.
No, Jerry.
Is it Jerry?
It's Jerry.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I like Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jerry's a guy.
There's a lot of J names.
Jerry's a guy I don't like.
It's just one more confusing J.
You know what? There's a lot of names. You guys decide to make characters important. So
except for Joshua.
It's your guys' fault.
And Jimmy.
It's your guys' fault.
And Justin. We did not choose those.
Okay.
You picked those.
That's true. Joshua, Jimmy, Justin. Yeah, that's all me.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
on me. That's mine.
You owned that one.
That one's on me. That one's totally on me. I got a thing with Jace. What can I say?
Yeah, you're a Josh. It's okay.
I will say there's a piece of me in each of those characters. Like
you're a subconsciously narcissistic SOB.
I did really like intentionally. Justin, Joshua, Jimmy. Those are all kind of author inserts for me. Like they're different bits of just me having fun.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I like them all, and I don't like them all.
Yeah.
But Jerry's the worst. Screw Jerry. I don't like him.
I did like that you made him mute.
I made him mute.
That was fun.
Jerry is the personification of every NPC I don't want you guys to learn about.
Yeah.
It's just there. He's a vanilla take up space character in the world that I didn't write a backstory for. I don't have a name for. And don't talk to them. Don't ask them questions. Yeah. Don't get to know them. Don't try and find depth.
I agree. Now, to be fair, there are times where the person should have a name because we are meant to interact with them.
Okay, that's true.
And they don't.
That is true.
Toefoot Bagwearer.
And you know what? That's on me. He is the Toefoot Bagwearer, or Topher Bagwell, as we now call him.
Which is such a great Hobbit name.
He's the
such a great halfling name.
He's the personification of my inability to think of things I should have thought of.
Yeah.
So I do all this planning, all this world building and thought, and I put all this time in, and then I should have thought of this.
I wish you had a name person that was just like, hey, read this. What needs names? Like, you know what? Put names in for me.
I have them. I have those things. Like, I think Aaron gave me a piece of paper that has like a bunch of different ideas for names,
but not just thinking of names, knowing where to put them. Like, I don't think you have a problem. I think you have problems thinking of names on the spot, but anyone would. I think it's just knowing what needs names while you're writing it.
Yeah.
So you need someone who's like not spell checking, not grammar checking, name checking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who reads it and is like, that needs a name.
and Topher Bagwell is another Dragonlance nod.
Oh, okay.
So there's a character in Dragonlance called what's his name? He's the best. He's the absolute best.
You should do some more. You should delegate that out. You should have the either like a voting or like have like
that would be a fun thing on Patreon.
A Patreon thing. Have like you submit a name, we will use it in a character.
Yeah,
It may not be a major character. Maybe it will be if the name's cool enough. But like submit a bunch of names, and if your name gets chosen for the vote, we'll shout it out at the end of the episode.
Yes,
you know what I mean, something like that.
Yes. Okay, hold on. Who is this guy? What's his name? This is going to drive me nuts.
What?
So in Dragonlance, the halflings are called Kender.
Okay.
But there's a very specific one. I'm trying to Tasselhoff Burfoot.
Hasselhoff Burfoot?
Tasselhoff. Tasselhoff Burfoot.
Okay.
He's a halfling, and
that is the toe-foot bag wearer.
So Tasselhoff Burfoot, and I went. What did I call him?
Toe-foot bag wearer.
Yeah. So you can see I was kind of drawing
tassel bag, toe-foot. Footwell, what is his name?
Burfoot. Yeah. So he's constantly stealing.
You do have a tendency to veer toward the feet names when it comes to halflings. You got Toefoot and then you got Twin Step.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well, then I have Tweelia.
It's a little on the nose. Tweelia is a gnome, I thought.
Is she?
Yep, pretty sure.
Oh yeah, she is.
That's why Winnie's parents like her.
Dude, I really have done halflings bad in this. I don't like. There's not a lot of halflings.
No, there's plenty. I think making one the king of the...
Twin Step is a halfling.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you said Tweelia.
Oh, yeah, you're right. She's a gnome.
That's what I said.
Okay. It's been a long time, guys. It's been a long time. We've been recording for over an hour.
Sorry, this is a long one. Guys, I'm so excited for season 3. I haven't heard it. I recorded some of it, but I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait for you guys to hear it.
Yeah.
I'm pumped. Recently, people have been nervous on the Discord of like, is it coming? And I've been kind of like hanging.
Fair.
Yeah, totally. And I've been like, and I'm just kind of like hanging there, guys. I know it's close. Like,
well, so here's
I don't know how close, but
here's
like,
what I need to own.
Hold on.
I feel like anybody who's like show run something will groan with me here, or they'll just judge me. But like I told myself I won't do this, but I made the comment in the Discord. I was like, hey guys, I'm making some good progress. We're going to be coming out with something very soon. And then I got a GUI bug, or GI bug. It's like a very, like that. Remember when we were all like just puking and
yeah.
That happened right after. So I made that post.
Yeah.
And the next day I'm floored with illness. And like, so.
And then life, just projects
so I'm sick,
and work
gets pushed back, and then it's
baby
man, I had so many things lined up, and so I'm finally getting my head above water.
Yeah,
it's just so frustrating to me. Like I shouldn't have said anything.
The timeline is unfortunate.
So it's my fault. People are getting despair because I'm saying things and then nothing's happening. So
I mean,
this is coming out
happening, but we just no one can see what's happening.
Yeah.
And
we're recording this. It's Monday. The 28th,
is it?
And I'm
June.
As soon as I can, I'm publishing this.
Yeah.
So my plan is to have the episode out.
This autopsy
is getting published very soon.
Cool. What does that mean? Very soon.
Well, my hope would be like today,
okay, cool.
or like tomorrow.
Awesome.
So like I want to have the first episode out this week. So.
Okay. Are you for reals?
I'm dead for reals. Yeah.
Dude, I'm so pumped.
So
pumped.
That's my hope. To close things out. If you're still here, then you probably are also a patron.
Yes.
Some things are changing for the Patreon. July is going to be the final month for the Patreon the way it is. Coming in, is it August? Is that after July?
Yeah.
So in August, I'm changing up the Patreon. I'm going to be doing away with a lot of the paywalls. The post-show content that's on there will remain behind the paywall for seasons 1 and 2, and autopsies, that's all going to stay Patreon content. Maybe at some point I'll release that publicly.
But for anybody that is paying, like it's not going to be $2 and $5 limits.
Yes,
like,
it'll be.
There's no paywall.
Yes,
it's just pay.
The absolute minimum. You'll have access to it.
And I cannot recommend the autopsies enough.
There won't be.
Josh and Ricky are brilliant.
I'm going to be doing away with the patron games. They've been incredible and vital. And I seriously, first of all, to all of our patrons, thank you,
dude.
We would not be doing season 3.
Round of freaking applause.
We would not be here if it wasn't for you guys.
To all those patrons.
This last year has been very difficult. Here's the deal: when you have a kid, you can still be creative, you can still do stuff, but you can't be half as ambitious because it's just you've got to focus on family. And tag in then a pandemic, difficulties with the amount of work, and you just kind of are looking at, okay, like I've got to really focus on the most important things right now. Mm-hmm. And the truth is that like this podcast has always been kind of a side thing, but because the Patreon was there, it gave me the room to continue to work on this, to continue to push it forward.
Those patron games gave you the ability to, and the justification to put the time and the effort in and to keep the world alive in the interim.
Because here's the deal, like during this whole year of pandemic, I mean, one, it's hard for us to get together to schedule our recording sessions. So I've been DMing.
That wasn't always easy before the pandemic.
Yeah, that's right. I've been DMing 3 games every single month on the Patreon for patrons who have been supporting us at $50 for a seat. And I really owe it to them that this is happening.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't for all of our patrons, the podcast would be gone.
All the patrons.
If it wasn't for the patron games, I don't know that I would have it in me to do another season.
Yeah, it may have ended at season 2.
It really might have ended. And what it allowed me to do was, one, to continue to build the world, to kind of stay fresh in Altera, and to continue to DM, to continue to engage in D&D in a productive way that was working towards the podcast. So I cannot express how insanely blessed it has been to have such engaged, fun, friendly people like in these games.
And I can't wait as a player in season 3. I can't wait to be the benefactor of all that lore building that you've experienced.
It's wild. In season 2, the things that were happening in the podcast were having ramifications in the patron games.
Yeah.
And these kind of like unique campaigns
there was
running.
Small bleeds between.
We had one in Fairhaven, one at the Reach, and one in Alestria. And they were all kind of supposed to have started between seasons 1 and 2. And so the season 2 was impacting what was happening in their games. Then the hiatus happens, the pandemic. We end up not recording anymore and having to break. And these games are now getting to the place where they start outpacing the podcast. And so now things that I'm outlining and building out in these games are becoming some of the building blocks for what are going to impact season 3. And they're things I've always had. Like all of this is building on top of what I started season 1.
Did you already nail down what the time differential is between the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3?
Yes.
What is it? Do we know? Are we going to say?
6 years.
6 years. Okay.
Yeah. It's a real long piece of time.
Gotcha.
So
good chunk of time.
Yep. Yeah. The battle is huge.
Everybody's going to be 6 years older, 6 years wiser,
leveled
6 years
up,
stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or who knows? What
maybe
what
6 years weaker.
Time affects everybody differently.
Yeah, it's just, what doesn't kill you doesn't always make you stronger.
I don't know that I'm stronger than I was 6 years ago.
I'm not. I don't know how old I am. How old was I 6 years ago?
But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it. Seriously, thank you guys. Thanks to and beyond the Patreon, thank you to everyone that has loved the show, that has engaged with us, been so kind.
All the reviews, all the love,
reviews, the fan art. Like we continued to get reviews like while we were in hiatus, and I seriously it does not feel deserved, but I'm so thankful.
Same, dude.
So grateful for all of you guys. I want to give you guys a season worthy of the love and care that's been given to this show. And I do think this will be the final season. I'm not putting.
That was always the intention, though.
That was always the intention. I'm not going to put a real strong time period on it. I want season 3 to take as long as it needs to take.
Yeah, so we're probably not looking at weekly releases.
Yep.
It's going to come out when it comes out, and you're hoping they're going to be more highly polished.
Yep. I with the Patreon changing.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm going to be including is a monthly get together with the audience. So a live stream or something where I can answer questions. We can talk about lore. Maybe I can go into the different aspects of what the world book might contain when we build that out. Some of just different.
Are you still doing the world book?
Slowly. I mean, I've always been like it's. Just,
there was a time when you were like, I don't know if it'll ever come out,
and I don't.
Okay.
But like I'm still like the world is getting built. Yeah. I just don't know like
what you're gonna do with it afterwards.
Like how I would send it, Yeah. So like the. But yeah, there's it's always there, Mm-hmm. So I think it'd be fun to just get a chance to sit down and talk to everybody, answer questions in chat. I think it'd be fun to occasionally just have a one-shot game and invite, maybe do like a raffle or whatever for like the patrons who want to like play and just pick a few names, and then they hop on Discord video chat and we just play a quick game in front of everybody. And I don't know. So like the patron's going to have a few new things.
Like we would play live for them? Or like,
no, like I think
they would play with you.
Yeah, like I think it'd be fun. Like if we've got like people in chat and I just kind of draw from a hat and go, okay, you know, I'll send you a link to the chat. They hop on and then we play a game. You know what I mean? With a different community member, just live and on Discord. Like so, once a month or something like that. There's really nothing too expansive. Like I spend like those Patreon games we're doing right now. I'm DMing like once a month from 5 to midnight.
That's 3 games.
Yeah, three 2-hour games in a row. So it is a blast.
And all the prep and everything that goes into that.
It's a blast, but it's a lot of work. Yeah. So
but it's good.
Yeah. So I want to dwindle that down to being less of an investment, so I can focus more on the show. And we'll be releasing the post shows and autopsies for season 3 here. They will be all be public.
And you're probably going to post like a more elaborate, detailed layout of how the Patreon's changing on the Patreon.
I will.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, but that won't be till August. So July will still be the same way it is. And then August, everything will be updated and changed.
Cool, man.
But yeah, so stay tuned. The episode's coming. Season 3, episode 1 is coming soon.
Oh my gosh. So excited. I just can't hide it.
There's a lot of fun, good laughs, some
about to lose control.
Serious lore.
And I know I like it.
A few new characters. Yeah, it'll be really fun.
Dude, I can't tell you how excited I am.
It is the best production work I've ever done, and I probably shouldn't say that out loud because it can be used against me. But I'm really happy with it. Like
you're proud of it.
I don't know what other people's standards are, but for me, this is really like there's music, there's sound effects, and
the editing is out the wazoo compared to the others.
It's highly edited. What's crazy is this is some of the roughest audio we have because it was recorded.
A lot of it was remotely recorded.
And
not as of a controlled environment.
I did run into some serious audio problems that I had to find unique ways to solve.
Was my audio okay? I feel like I had a good mic.
Everyone's audio was okay. There was just like when it comes to mastering and making sure that nobody sounds
the levels
weird,
are correct.
Yeah. So there's some clipping, there's some stuff I had to work around. But what's funny is the time I've put into it, I do think this is still the best sounding audio we've ever had, despite the fact that we did it remotely.
And there's probably less talking over because of how it was done.
Well, and I spent a lot of time learning about like how to properly master the audio.
Ooh.
Like my options were like I could either pay somebody or figure this out. So I decided to take some time and figure it out. So
nice, dude.
So I hope it's good. I'm proud of it. That's the ultimate. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm
very happy with it.
I'm so excited.
If you love the last 2 seasons, I think you will very much love.
I'm so excited for the audience to get caught up with us. I'm so excited to get back into the world.
Same.
I'm so excited to re-inhabit Dalfin again.
Same.
So
yeah, it'll be great. And yeah, these autopsies will be happening again. So
I'm just excited to hang out with Eric and Aaron and Kelsey because I missed them and it's so fun.
So for anybody who doesn't know, we'll have the episode, the post show, which will come out later in the week. And then the autopsy, which we'll release every Monday or Tuesday.
So we'll still have those when the episodes come out.
Yep. The post show is basically we continue recording after the show. With the first 4 episodes, it's going to be unique because we've already recorded and we didn't do post shows.
So I'll need to listen to it before I'm probably able to.
So we'll probably do what I'd like to do is if I can try and like sit down with like each of you guys to talk about
whose episode it is.
Yeah, I think that would be fun just to do like a little like catch up.
Cool.
What you've been up to the last 6 years, So
we'll
see.
A little more in depth. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that'll come out after the first 4 episodes.
Flavor text.
But I'm committed to getting these 4 episodes out though. So whatever we've got, I'm not going to wait on a post show or something else.
An autopsy.
Yeah. The episodes are coming.
Or if we've recorded another one.
Yep. Yeah. I'm also going to be. I hope I'm not. I put my foot in my mouth here, but like my plan is to publish them to YouTube as well. So.
What do you mean?
To publish the episodes to you.
But there's no video.
No, I'll just be graphics and some animation. So
the animation?
Just like it'll be like
rough.
A character face and then like some animation that reacts to their audio. So that's that's it. I have some cool plugins that are good for that I just thought would be fun.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of just an image on screen with audio. I might end up publishing.
We never recorded our faces.
No, I might end up publishing the first 2 seasons that way on YouTube, but we've got a great YouTube, and it's got like more subscribers than I thought it would.
I wish we would have done some face stuff. I wish we would have done some.
Me too. And so part of me is like, I'll just publish the episodes there, and if people end up enjoying that and finding that like a cool space to go for content, then maybe we'll have a reason to publish stuff. But there's a lot of unknowns. If you haven't figured that out over the last year, then I don't know where you've been. But here's what you can count on. Season 3 is here.
There's going to be at least 4 episodes in season 3.
At least 4 episodes. Yeah.
And hopefully more.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe there will be more.
I believe so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. Seriously.
Thank you. And Josh, thank you for all the effort and work you're putting into this.
It's been an absolute joy.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I love D&D. I have so many reasons to stop doing D&D podcasts, but I really just love it. It's so much fun.
Because of the pandemic, I have no other games going on.
Like if I really want to be a serious podcaster, I should probably do something not D&D related.
Probably, yeah.
I'd love it. It's so much
D&D's
fun.
so great, dude.
It's just a blast.
Yeah.
And there's still some great D&D podcasts that are being made.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. When we launched in 2015 with Sneak Attack, there was barely anything out there for D&D on podcast-wise. A handful, you know what I mean? Now there's hundreds. And there's still some of the coolest podcasts I've ever seen are starting new. Like, so
the one that has helped sustain my passion and kept me in the world of D&D is College Humor's Dimension 20.
Yeah.
And specifically Fantasy High.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a plug. Go check it out if you can. They have a streaming service called Dropbox if you really like it. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it's on YouTube.
But there's still some just great podcasts like producing that kept producing. What's crazy is we were at such a disadvantage with the pandemic because we met in person. We recorded in person. So many of these podcasts have been doing remotely from the get-go.
Yeah, so it didn't hurt their format.
No, they just kept running. It was just incredible. So yeah, there's some great stuff out there. Like, anyway, if you want to make a podcast, make a podcast. Yeah. Don't tell yourself someone's already done it, so I'm not going to do it. Do it. Like there's no reason not to unless you don't want to.
Yeah. And if you don't want to, don't do it.
Yeah.
You got to consent.
Yeah. If it's in you and you have the ability.
If you don't consent, the podcast's not allowed to be made.
These are my rules, right? If you have it in you to make it, you have the capacity to make it, and it's going to put something good out into the world, do it. There's no reason not to at that point.
Well, probably are, but maybe they're bad reasons.
Yeah. So,
or good reasons.
Seriously, thank you, everyone. I'm so grateful.
We're both getting tired and kind of rambling now.
We've almost hit 2 hours, and there's a little part of me that's like 8 more minutes, and maybe we'll get there.
If you made it, mwah, we love you.
So, yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Peace.
Really dragged that on. Really dragged that on.
Yeah, we did.